like it should have been.
Yeah.
So like it was easily a missable event unless like unless you had people that constantly reminded you about it, which they didn't. So yeah, that was tonight, and I didn't know until like after it happened. I saw like someone with a picture with Taylor Bennett on it. Just like, wow, I meant to go to that tonight, and now I'm upset. So
yeah, both these events, both the monks and Taylor Bennett coming to Webster, really just snuck up on me because I was just like, whoa, like, you know.
Well, the monks was like that was the biggest thing.
It was the biggest thing
that Webster's been promoting, along with like the conference too, because that started today as well.
Yeah, I didn't learn about Taylor Bennett until like 2 days ago.
I knew for like a month.
Oh, really?
Then I forgot because I only walk through the UC
every now and
then. Every now and then to like leave. I'll like walk in there and then leave right out. I don't stay in the UC anymore, so I just like go in, go out, so I don't go past that area. Also, the monk were there, and that was too many people, so I'm just like, I'm not gonna go in the UC. And I'm not gonna go over there. There's a lot of people over there, so I just avoided that area in general. So that's why I forgot that it happened.
Yeah, that was just some of the events happening at Webster. Cameron Sater does a great job of putting those events on, so definitely check them out as they happen throughout the year. So, but yeah, and so back to our movie review show here. So we're gonna take a look at Blade Runner 1982, the original Blade Runner. So yeah, starring Harrison Ford and some other people that I always forget.
Sean Young.
Yeah. What's the actress's name? Is that her name?
Sean
Young. Okay, cool.
Who's gonna talk about
Who wants to talk about it? You want?
Okay. You haven't. Does anybody?
I've talked him out.
Steven fell asleep during it.
I fell asleep halfway through it, so I don't remember the talk. I only remember the first hour.
Irvin's not talking about it. It's either me or you.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
I did Ex Machina. Do you want to do it?
All right.
Take a jab at it.
Sure. So, in Blade Runner, the year is 2019, only 2 short years from now, and it takes place in Los Angeles. And what we find out is that there is a corporation called the Tyrell Corporation that makes these androids called replicants. They look just like humans. They act like humans. And they're basically used for slave labor. And whenever a replicant needs to be exterminated, it's not called like extermination or murder. It's called retiring. And they have special police officers that retire replicants called Blade Runners. Basically, they are given like a test, and only a human can pass this test because it requires like memory and all that. And replicants have implanted memories.
Right.
Like everyone knows about what memories are implants, what aren't, basically. And replicants are given implanted memories in order to feel human. So there are 6 replicants that basically like rebel, and they go off-world and come back to Earth in order to get to the Tyrell Corporation and sort of figure out how to get more life, because since replicants are so dangerous, they're only given at least the Nexus 6 ones are only given 4-year lifespans.
Right.
So the whole thing is that the main replicant, the villain of the movie, Roy Batty, and his group are trying to get to the Tyrell Corporation so that they can convince their maker to give them more life. And Harrison Ford, who plays Rick Deckard, a Blade Runner, has to track them down and stop them. That was a lot.
And yeah, he goes through as the movie goes on, he one by one retires the replicants.
Yeah.
And his final task is to retire the main leader of them all.
Roy Batty.
And I think for me at least, that ending part of the movie when he's on the rail when he's falling. Yeah. We learn that the replicant helps him, and you learn that replicants aren't just these things that they're made
Yeah.
out to be. They actually have more soul than human kind of.
Because Rachel, who is the female lead basically,
Mm-hmm.
is a replicant. She's the newest model that Tyrell has made.
Right.
And Rick Deckard starts to get feelings for Rachel, which is not weird, but like it's not supposed to happen.
Right.
But the whole what you were saying about like how he helps Rick Deckard in the end.
Mm-hmm.
The whole motto of the Tyrell Corporation is that they make replicants more human than human.
Right.
So it's weird when like a replicant actually like helps a human for themselves, basically.
But yeah, and I was
gonna say, is that a good enough job?
that's a great no. Yeah, I was just gonna add. Yeah, and in terms of like in the movie, you mentioned how they're pretty much realistic to humans. Exactly.
Yeah, they're
even
the only like obvious thing that humans can see is the eyes.
yeah.
Replicants have, in certain lighting, their eyes glow red.
Yeah. And like even when there's that scene when Rick Deckard goes to like this club and
Yeah.
there's this one girl that's like a dancer there, and as he's running her down, he shoots her. And when I first saw him, I was like, oh my god, like he shot. They was asking like, did you ever make the mistake of retiring a human? He's just like, no. And like he shoots her and like blood flies everywhere. I'm just like, oh my god, he retired a human. And it's crazy how how realistic they really do look like humans because the blood and everything.
Yeah.
Only then when you get up close, you see like, oh, okay, see all the parts inside. That's not part of a human. So, but yeah, they're crazy realistic.
Yeah. So do we want to get like more in depth with it now? Like since I sort of went over the synopsis.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, I'll go last anyway. So you guys go ahead and take a crack at it.
So Levi, you've seen this movie 4 times.
Yep.
I've seen it twice. I saw it for my first time last year with you.
Yeah.
And then we watched it last Thursday in preparation for Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know you've already like gone over it a little bit, but what are your thoughts on Blade Runner?
I mean, I don't know, nothing new from, like you said, like last time.
Well, I forgot what you
Go
said
over what
last
you said
time
last time, 'cause I don't remember it.
Because the thing is, I didn't watch movies
Also,
back
does
then.
the audience know your initial thoughts?
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
it's probably a different audience.
It's
Very true.
good movie.
Are you serious?
I knew he was gonna say
Like
that.
Hold on.
I was gonna say you can
He has more to say.
It's a good movie. It's cult classic. Obviously, everybody knows it's cult classic. For its time, it wasn't popular when it came out in 1982. It bombed at the box office, but like just in general, I guess with both Blade Runner movies when we get to the second one, but with both of them, like Blade Runner. Both of them are Blade Runner is its own type of movie.
Mhm.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's its own category. Because this movie, like, it's a sci-fi drama more so than it is action. It's not really action. There is action, but it's not. And I know, like, during this time when Harrison Ford was big, like, that's all he was doing was action. He had 2 Star Wars movies. He had both Indiana Jones movies. So he was really big at the time, and it was action. I mean, there is action in this, but it's more so drama, sci-fi drama.
Yeah,
than it
Urban
is.
over here thought he was going to be watching an action movie before me, and you were like, no.
Yeah,
It's not an action movie.
it's alright, though. But, it does a good, like, it's deep. Especially, like, the very end. It gets really, really deep, and that's something both Blade Runners are. But it's really, really deep with just its messages behind, like, what's really human, what makes you human, with its theme of that. But the blue tones, the blue and gold tones that it has in the movie, like gold when they're at the Tyrell Corporation, and then blue when they're just in Los Angeles.
Are you talking about like
Streets.
the color, like the color scheme, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
the
lighting
blue
and
and gold
lighting.
tones. Yeah. Where was I going? Like, it is colorful and it's nice. The production design I think is outstanding for Los Angeles 2019.
It's pretty cool.
The score, obviously, nothing can beat the score. I mean,
such a good score.
it is. It really is a good score.
I think it's alright.
Yeah.
It is.
I definitely think because, like you said, I love how you said it's like a different kind of movie. I think it almost falls into its own like subgenre kind of.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because
like,
it's
both
so
Blade
deep.
Runners are their only. They're their own type of movie, being sci-fi drama, because they're so deep. They're really deep.
You don't really see a lot of sci-fi movies that get deep. You know, they usually focus on like all the technology and all that, but Blade Runner, it does, but it focuses more on what it's like. You said, what makes us human.
Yeah, that's the recurring theme for both Blade Runner movies.
Yeah.
That's what makes you really human.
And I was gonna say, like, as Blade Runner as a whole, both the two movies now, it's like Ridley Scott directed the first one, and then Denis Villeneuve directed the second one. But in some way, it's like they both had like the same game plan going into the movies. Because as I was watching,
the same writers, both movies was the same writers.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like the same fluff, but it was like a nice, very kind of slow pace. But in some way, it really like kind of makes sense. Like at first I was like, this movie is way too freaking slow, and I was like, maybe for some reason.
Yeah, Blade Runner is especially slow.
I can attest to that.
I mean,
yeah, you fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
What was that, Steven?
I fell asleep. I was up for the first hour, and then after that, I just knocked out.
Where did you stop, and what was the last thing you remember?
I woke up twice. I woke up at like the very end, like the very, very end, like right before the credits popped up was when I woke up last.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
And the time before that, I woke up when I think they were in like the bar. That's when I woke up slightly and then went back into sleep.
Oh
Bar.
my god, that's so.
Wait, what
That's
scene was
very
the bar? What scene
early
was
in
the
the
bar?
movie.
Was it the when he's?
Whenever he's hunting down the dancer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was there because I woke up. I woke up and I think I woke up and I remember the music that I heard because it's the song that I remember from the soundtrack, and probably why it's my favorite song on the soundtrack because I remember it well because I heard it somewhere like before I ever watched Blade Runner and I don't remember where.
Oh, I remember.
Memories of Green.
I remember what you're talking about. I remember you saying it. It was whenever he was getting the scale checked.
Yeah. That I don't know how far that was in the movie, but
That was
that's
like
when I woke.
30, 45 minutes in?
I don't know.
It was probably I think it was 45
I think
minutes
that's
in.
I was still awake at that time because I think I was like that's when I was getting ready to doze off, but I was up at that time. That's the last thing I remember. And then when I woke up, the last scene, and then it ended, and I was like, "Cool, I missed everything about this movie."
It's alright.
Well, hopefully when you
you'll
rewatch it again eventually.
Yeah, whenever I do it.
I hope
I
you'll
have to make
see.
sure we watch it early so I don't fall asleep.
It is slow. Here's the thing. Like, the first time you ever watch a movie, that's it. Like, because you'll watch it again, but you're not going to feel the same as when you watched it the very first time.
I can agree with
Because
that.
the very first time, like, no matter how slow a movie is, if it is ungodly slow, then, like, you will be engaged. It's the first time you watch it, like, you'll realize this is slow, but you're gonna continue to stay engaged to understand what's going on. But then after you watch it, like, your second, third time after that, you're zoning out. Because you've seen it once already and you were engaged that one and only time, but then you're zoning out if it's that slow of a movie.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'll be honest with you, I almost fell asleep with this film. I almost did, but I did not because I wanted to see what happened. Because I'm like, I want to go see the other movie, but it got to the point where it was so slow that I wanted to fall asleep. How like slow it was. I was like, I cannot take this anymore.
Yeah, I think that they were just really tired for some reason.
Yeah.
So when I watched it, I'm like, I'm very into it, and then I just fell asleep completely on accident. And when I woke up, I asked Brendan or Levi where are we doing? There's like, the credits are about to come on. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
we were like, you got like 1 minute before the credits roll.
So yeah, but also like whenever like you first see a movie, depending on however you are in that movie, it'll be like you will have that moment whenever you try to do it. Cause that's for me. Whenever I watch Insidious 2, I always fall asleep, no matter how early I watch it. I fall asleep every time I watch it.
That's fair.
And I don't get it, but it just happens. Cause it's just from the first time I ever tried to watch it, it was at night and I fell asleep on it. And whenever I try to see it again, I just fall asleep or I just completely zone out on it.
Yeah.
I think with Blade Runner, especially like, because this is my first time watching it. Obviously, I watched it because 24/9 was out, and I wanted to go see that movie. Really, you get there, Steve?
I literally just like sat up for a second and the chair moved up.
This was this was one of those films where it was like everyone knew about Blade Runner, right? And I was the only person I was like, I don't know what this movie's about. And then you guys were like, go watch, and I was like, all right, fine. Then I saw the trailer for 24, and I was like, okay, now I have to go watch this movie because they're making a sequel to it. And I just remember being really disappointed with this movie, not because of the action. That wasn't the main part of it. It was just because I expect, like, from the cover and what like the trailers look like, I'm like, I expect so much more. But in the end, what I thought it was all right. I wasn't a huge fan of it, and it was just one of those movies that after I watched, I said to myself, I probably wouldn't watch this again, and also I kind of regret buying it on like before I watched it too. That was one of my biggest regrets too, because I bought this thing on 4K, and don't get me wrong, it looks incredible,
if
right?
If you don't want it, I'll take it.
Stop it! No, I'm gonna keep it now, but I.
Okay.
I regret buying it
But
before I watched it.
But
hey, I'll take it.
Anyway.
No, I want to keep it.
I don't blame him. I'd keep it too.
Yeah.
You paid how much for that?
I paid like $30
I'd
for
keep it. I would. Yeah.
If it was on DVD, maybe, but even then, I want to keep my
I would
films.
keep whether I liked it or not. I spent that much money. I'm keeping it.
But I mean, for me, it just. Do I regret watching it? No, but would I watch it again? I mean, I'd have to be in a really good mood if I want to watch Blade Runner, because there are just so many concepts. I think the concept is a cool idea, but just the way kind of the story flows, it's very kind of long, and I don't think the characters are as memorable as people make them out to be. And I just think it's one of those films that really had a lot of potential, and I just wish I kind of saw more from it. That's just me personally. That's what I kind of thought of it.
Here's the thing. Last year when I watched it for the first time, I was in the exact same. Like, I thought the exact same thing as you.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, it was okay. I was like, I mean, it was decent. Like, I expected more from it, but I guess it was alright. But then we watched it again on Thursday, and I liked it a lot more.
Okay.
So I feel like this is one of those movies, like, you don't have to watch it, like over and over and over and over again. But I feel like each time you watch it, you'll like it a bit more.
Okay.
I'm not saying, like, oh, you should watch it, like, religiously, like, once a month and, like, change your opinion on it. But, like, and you're not the only one. I've read a lot of reviews that are like, yeah, I had to watch Blade Runner, like, 3 times before I actually enjoyed it and understood it.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Really is.
That's what I say. Like, it's a slow burn.
I mean, that was the movie with Metropolis. I hated it the first time, but then I watched it the second time. It was really good.
Exactly.
So I think, yeah, it's one of those films.
But then there are some movies that no matter how many times you watch it,
It doesn't get better.
You're not gonna like it.
Yeah, it doesn't get better.
You may like it because you're with friends, but
Cat in the Hat.
I was gonna say Cat in the Hat. No matter how many times you watch that movie, it's a bad movie.
It only gets funnier because when I watch it with you guys.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
Can we make that like a yearly thing? We watch Cat in the Hat.
He left it at home.
Hey.
I'm gonna have to buy it again.
Yeah.
And give it to him on his birthday again.
Just bring it back.
No, give it to the guy another one for
No,
him.
I got
Wait,
my copy
you're going?
of it.
Aren't you going back home for fall break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it
just
back.
Bring it back then.
That's what I.
That's what he was
what
trying
I
to
just
say, but he
said.
kept cutting them off.
I apologize.
It's Or just, you know.
So are we done?
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just what I have to say. But if you guys want to continue saying anything before we go to ratings, I'm fine with that.
I mean, I'm basically done. The only other thing I wanted to add was the whole concept of, is Rick Deckard a replicant or is he not thing is just
Right.
really like mind blowing.
It really is.
Because there are hints at it.
Yeah.
Like straightforward like hints at it in the movie with the unicorn and the origami and all that.
And there's the one when his eyes are actually like the
and
same
his
color
eyes,
as.
there's the one lighting.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if that was like a mistake or if it was intentional or what.
Whatever they did, they
But
caused
the thing is, what's so great is everyone questions it.
Right.
Ridley Scott straight up was like,
He's a replicant.
He's a replicant. But then you got Harrison Ford who's like,
No.
no, Rick Deckard's not a replicant. He's a human. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Who do you trust?
And that's
you
the whole
trust?
thing. It's like, well, wait. Do you trust the guy who directed this movie and like
or do you
actually
trust the guy who's
played
playing
the
character?
guy? Yeah. In my opinion, I mean, I guess we'll hold up at the end of the episode. But I'll tell you
Maybe
what I
he's
think.
a half human, half replicant.
Maybe he is.
He's a heplicant or a rumen.
A Rumen?
Just say half human, half replicant.
I like rumen.
It's kind of funny because that alludes to 2049 now.
Yeah.
I made a reference
can't
without.
get-
but I
You
can't-
did.
we can't get into it. I haven't
We
even
can't
seen it
get
yet.
too into it, Levi.
What do you mean?
We
Like, I
can't
know
get
we
too
can't.
into the plot.
You can just give like a basic synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got Ryan Gosling. All right. But anyway, so anything else for Blade Runner before we go into ratings?
No.
All right, cool. What
I'm
do you guys
basically
wanna,
done.
what do you guys want to start with?
Let's go down the line.
Just this way?
Yep,
Sure.
just that way.
Alright, well, I give Blade Runner a 7.2.
Blade Runner is one of the other Ridley Scott movies I like. Of all the other ones, like I know there's ones I don't like, there's ones I do like of his. This is one of the ones I do like. I give Blade Runner an 8.2.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm actually surprised by your rating because I thought I would be the lowest one. I gave it a 7.3. Because I thought
Not much higher than me.
I know I'm only by 1 point off. So
Yeah.
I thought I would be the lowest one, but like I said, I mean it's a rating that's due to change in the future with all films. You know, you
Mhm.
watch them every time you watch them, your opinion changes with them. So maybe it'll get higher, maybe it'll get lower. You never know. But
I'll have an actual rating.
yeah, Steve might have an
Yeah,
actual
you'll have
rating.
an actual
Like I have like a
eventually.
somewhat thing of what I feel like I would rate the movie, but I haven't seen it all. I have to watch another hour of it,
Right? No, I feel you,
Yeah.
Steven.
and then I can say my rating.
Yeah.
So, alright, so if there's nothing else to Blade Runner Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, let's move on to the marquee of the night. Already so early into the show. It's still very early, but
Hey, it's whatever.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Things happen.
Some shows are gonna be longer than others. Some are gonna be shorter.
alright. So, Blade Runner 2049 came out this year, this past weekend, starring Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford. Makes a comeback in this film again, as well as Jared Leto. He's in this film too. So,
Yeah.
whoever wants to take away the synopsis and take it away.
I mean, either you could use it the first
I
one.
don't wanna
or
do
just-
it.
He's
I don't wanna-
done 2 already.
Well, I just don't want to do
You
this
did?
one.
Yeah, he did
Oh, that's
Metropolis and
right.
the
You
Martian.
did do the Metrop. Okay.
Well, personally, I just don't want to do this one either. I'm not. I'll let you know what I think.
Yeah,
so.
he's gonna give us his rating.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
finally tell us what he thought of this movie.
Yeah.
Even though we
finally.
probably know already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Blade Runner 2049. It takes place 30 years later. Obviously, if the first one was 2019, here it is 49. And Ryan Gosling, he plays a Blade Runner, and in 30 years later, because the Tyrell Corporation is done, they're gone. There's the new corporation, which is led by Jared Leto's character, because of the environment. Like the environment was destroyed and whatnot. So
Is
he
it
has
called like
rebel-
Wallace or something?
Niander Wallace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Niander
Wallace.
But so there's these new replicants. They're the Nexus 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nexus
the
8.
Yeah, Nexus 8, and therefore to help with farming and whatnot for the environment. And everything still works the same as it did in the first one, except they're not Nexus 6, they're Nexus 8, and they're there to help farm because the ecosystem was destroyed and just so heavily polluted and whatnot. So, but the concept still stays the same, that when they get out of order or whatnot, and it's time to retire them, then there's Blade Runners who do it. So Ryan Gosling plays a Blade Runner, a replicant Blade Runner, and yeah,
Yeah.
and right off the bat, at the beginning, Dave Bautista, because he's a replicant, he goes to see him, and because he's one of the ones on their list that they need to get because he's gone bad and whatnot. So he goes and gets him and brings him back. We get insight, like, Gosling lives alone. His character is Officer K, but he has Joy, his
hologram wife.
His hologram wife, yeah, who he carries around. Yeah.
Sad.
I mean, he's a replicant, and
Yeah.
she's, yeah.
Well, I know in the beginning of the film we see her. She's very like limited to that little thing she has, and he buys her an upgrade that allows her to travel with them, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what happens is there's a mystery that there is a child that is born that is a half-breed. It's replicant. A child came from a replicant and a human couple, or like a replicant couple, or it was either a
Either
replicant.
way, it was
yeah.
born from a
It was-
replicant, which is
yeah.
supposed to not happen.
Reproduce, yeah.
So like this
Yeah.
mystery unfolds of who is the child and whose child is it, and if you can't, like, Rick Decker's been missing for 30 years, so, and then because of this mystery, it leads him to go find Rick Decker and to figure out the mystery, like,
Yeah.
who's the child.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a giant episode of Maury. Who is the father? Who is the mother?
You are not the replicant.
Because this child, like, changes the future for him.
Yeah.
It changes, so we'll get
It
another
changes
one.
the game for humans and replicants.
Yeah,
both.
so we'll get like another one, Blade Runner 2079, and 30 years later.
More
See
30,
how
just 30
much-
years though. Only
yeah.
30-year increments.
What's
Yeah.
the new mystery that's gonna? Because that's just a bit like it's huge. It sends the whole world into chaos. That replicants can be born from other replicants.
You know how in this? What's up?
I'm gonna say it reminds me a little bit of Children of Men. How
Is that the one
that
with-
where no one can have kids, but someone gets
Who's
like.
in that? Is that? That's Jackie
Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
He's in that. I was
Yeah,
thinking of
I think he's
Little
the main. He's the
Children
main.
with Kate Winslet.
He's the main star, I think. But it's basically like the same. Like, it's a society where like something happens and no one can have kids.
Mhm.
But there's this one lady who was pregnant, who has a child, and the world just goes into complete chaos because they find out that, oh, there's hope. Like, people can reproduce now, but then just like everything just goes downhill and like gets really chaotic. So it kind of just like here, and that reminded me of like Children of Men, which is also a really good movie.
I was gonna say, I think it's funny how in this film, so obviously the Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, Harrison Ford is the Blade Runner. And then in this movie, he's like the old Blade Runner. And then Ryan Gosling's the fresh new face. 30 years from now, it's gonna be
Oh, right.
Ryan Gosling's gonna be the old Blade Runner. There's gonna be a new Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and the cycle just keeps going and going.
Yep.
I have a question I need to ask you. Deja vu. I said that to that girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You're probably wondering, Irvin, if you didn't like their original Blade Runner so much, why on earth would you go see this one? Well, this one looked like it had hope, in my opinion, a lot.
Oh no.
Okay, we know where it's
Yeah.
going.
Well, hold on. Jeez, don't judge me.
Go ahead.
I mean, we kind of have a reason to act this way whenever we got back from seeing it. Told you how good it was. You come back from seeing it, and we're like, Irvin, what'd you think? And you go,
And then you refuse to tell us what we think
Well,
of it.
I don't
here's
know.
Here's the thing.
I don't
I
know.
was, after I watched the movie, this past Sunday when I watched it, I'll be honest with you. When you guys said the movie like wrecked you, you're like, oh man, it was so good. This movie wrecked me in terms of what on earth do I give this movie? Like, what do I like think of this movie? Like, just for myself, not even for the show, just for myself, what do I think? Because I've thought about this movie like every single day now. Like, what on earth am I gonna give this movie? Because it's just one of those things that I've had to think about constantly to even try to get myself in the right direction to move. Because in many ways it's similar to the original Blade Runner, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet somehow it's a bit of a new, like, fresh, more of a new, like, modern kind of twist to it, especially with Denis Villeneuve directing it.
Yeah.
So he did that. I was like, okay, so already I understand just a little bit more, but at the same time, nothing has changed from watching the original Blade Runner. I kind of felt just a little bit of the same kind of vibe as I was watching it. Now, was it?
I mean, there are
Yeah.
parallelism.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
parallels to
yeah.
this movie, but in terms of, like, I heard this movie fixed a lot of, like, memorable characters, and the, like, kind of the plot was, like, the way the movie flows is a lot quicker too, and I think I saw that just a little bit. I definitely think Jared Leto's character was probably one of my just like I use this term a lot, the Mahershala kind of Ali, because he was on screen for not a very long time, but when he was on screen, I was like, okay, I can see what you're talking about. Like, I can see exactly what you're saying, because
He method acted again for this movie.
Yeah.
He wore his contacts lens
Mhm.
that made him blind.
Yeah.
A lot,
Yeah.
all the time.
yeah,
I bet that made Harrison Ford mad.
Yeah.
I bet that just irked Harrison.
I
He's
don't
like,
know, he only
all
had
right,
one
come on,
scene.
knock it off.
He only had one scene with them, so
but
it's like the only one day on set with him.
but as I was
Probably a reason I was only one day on set.
Harrison Ford probably almost knocked him out.
But I mean, when he was on the screen, I was like, okay, I think, he's definitely way more memorable than the Tyrell was in the original Blade Runner, because he has this kind of, like, eeriness to him, and kind of a
Yeah.
new, like, little bit of more evil, because this new kind of character. And so, like I said, in many ways, it's very similar to the original Blade Runner, and so my opinion's gonna be almost similar to that. But at the same time, it was kind of a bit of a step up for me, just because I think I was starting to understand it a bit more. So, but yeah, it was just one of those movies that I was fighting with myself internally, 24/7. And even today, I was like, here we go, today's the day.
Mhm.
And even after I give this rating for when we do it, I'm still gonna be fighting myself, because I'm gonna be like, Irvin, you have to watch the OG one again, then you have to go watch this one again, just to get a little clear path of what happens. So, but yeah, but I don't know what else. I mean, that's all I have to kind of say for that.
Who wants to go next? Do you want to go next?
I don't. Do we just want to go down the line? I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't know.
So who's going?
I don't.
Are we rating or are we talking about it?
Talking about it.
Okay, yeah, you guys pick.
I don't care. I'll go.
Okay.
I liked the movie. It was heavy. It really was.
Mhm.
I can agree with that.
It was deep, just like the first one, but this one was heavy, really, really heavy. It paralleled the first one as far as the pace.
Oh, yeah.
Was still slow. It was still slow, but it was all right because it was like unnecessary slow.
Mhm.
The tones were the same, if not, like, there weren't as much. There was some gold only at Niander Wallace's
Yeah.
palace at his place. There was gold. Other than that, there was orange, and there was still blue when it was raining in Los Angeles. But then when they went away to, like, the desert where Rick Deckard is, where Las Vegas is, 2049, then it was gold, not gold, orange. So the tones were really nice. The cinematography, it was Roger Deakins, like, it was typical Roger Deakins. It was good, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I was wanting a little bit more. It seemed like all the good shots they showed in the trailer, and there were still good shots in this, but it seems like all the really good shots they showed in the trailer.
Like Ryan Gosling on the bridge with the
The hologram.
the hologram.
Yeah.
Oh, that one, yeah, that was good.
That was a really good shot.
All the good shots they showed, I feel like, in the trailer, because then I would look for new good, and there were new good shots in the movie, but at the same time, like, it was typical Roger Deakins cinematography. If you see, like, any of the other movies he's DP'd for, it was typical Roger Deakins. I was a little disappointed that Harrison Ford was not in it as much as what they advertised.
Same.
He was only in it for like 45 minutes.
Same,
to
very
an
much.
hour of the
How long is
movie.
the movie again?
2 hours.
It's
and
2 hours.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh, it's 2:42.
long movie. It's a long movie.
But that's the pace, Steven. That's how slow it goes. Like, the pace of the movie is what determines why it's so long, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one's long, but this one is long. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have
This
to
one's
buckle
like-
my.
This one's like an hour longer than
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because I was like, oh, this one will be just as long. Nope, longer.
Yeah.
Well, if the pacing's good, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
The score, Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfish, they like their score.
Oh, it was Hans Zimmer?
Him
Really?
and like two of them did the score.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
Hans. I thought, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, him and Benjamin did it. But the score was really good. Not as good as the first one though.
No, I
but
don't think anything's
still-
ever gonna top the first
yeah.
one. But
Evangelist did such a good job on it.
Yeah. But it still did justice though. It really did. It still did justice. It was parallel, like there wasn't as much there was still action but not as much because again it is sci-fi drama.
Yeah.
Parallelisms with like Rick Deckard and Officer K, because like Officer K, he wears the huge overcoat
Uh-huh.
just like Deckard did.
mhm.
He's the same way Deckard was in the movie, like doesn't show a lot of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he is a replicant, and then Deckard's just a mystery. So,
Yeah.
and he's still a mystery. Like this movie, still like it hinted, but it didn't like officially.
I don't think we're ever gonna get a
Answer.
definitive answer.
I don't think.
I hope we don't either because I
really,
love.
Yeah, I really hope we don't. I like the mystery around it.
Yeah. But it was really good overall. I really enjoyed it. With Denis Villeneuve's films, the 40's done now, like Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, and Blade Runner 2049. I honestly don't know where this is either like number 2 or number 3.
For me, it's number.
For me.
I think it's like number.
Because my favorite film by him is Prisoners, and then after that,
Same.
yeah, and then after that, it's either this one or Arrival, and then whichever one is not is number.
I love
3.
Arrival.
And then
Really.
Sicario's number 4, but
Arrival's a great film.
it is
One of Denis. Bill. I
It's
mean,
sort of like when we were listing. What movies were we listing?
I know what you're talking
Because
we
we
did the
just
same thing
did the
the
same
other
thing.
day.
We were like,
yeah,
yeah, this is
if you
if
go
whatever's
either
not in
way-
this spot, it's whatever.
I can't remember what it was, but we did. I know we did. Yeah, like the shots were good. The color was beautiful. The score was really good. Not as good as the original though, but still really good. It does justice. It really does. Denis Villeneuve just did justice overall to this movie compared to the first one. And it was nice seeing Harrison Ford back. Wish he had more screen time of what they advertised. But I'll say this. 'Cause I told Brendan, like my favorite scene in the whole movie was towards the end. It was with the villain,
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
Gosling, and Harrison Ford.
I think her name
Where-
is Joy. Oh no, it's Love. It's Love. That's
Yeah,
her name. Yeah.
the villain. Yeah.
Don't give away too much.
I won't.
What is her name?
No, I'm not.
know.
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to
know
him.
not to give away too much. I will be careful.
I know what you're talking about, though.
though.
Okay,
Like
sure,
the
sure.
scene towards the end where they're
Doing stuff.
in the water with
Yeah.
the ship, and the ship crashes or gets washed up in
Yeah.
the water and starts like the lighting, like everything just works so well. Like it'd been like a long time, I feel like, since I'd seen a scene in a movie that worked, like everything, all the components of filmmaking worked really well together. The score, the lighting, the camera angles, the scene, and their acting, all three of them, like it,
Mm-hmm.
like honest to God, I can't remember the last time I watched a movie and thought like, is this like scene really stood out to me? Like all the components of filmmaking all worked together so well,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my favorite scene of the whole movie. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have a. Oh, you gonna say?
No.
I was gonna say I don't think I have a favorite scene in this movie, but my favorite shot in this movie, I knew I was my favorite shot when I saw it. It's the shot where Ryan Gosling has to go find Rick Deckard, or I guess
It's
you could
all
say.
orange and he's in the
And
middle.
it's that one, yeah, when he's
Yeah,
all
I
in and he's
love
just
that one,
walking.
too.
That's my
That's a
favorite
really
shot of the
good
movie
shot.
because it's like I'm just like that should have been like one of the posters too, just
Mhm.
that like one shot
I think
because
it was.
'Cause it's all I don't know.
it's just all orange, and then you
Yeah.
just see like Joe
This
right
black,
in the middle.
This black, figure, him with his back towards us, and then the score going along while he's just walking.
Mhm.
It was,
Yeah, that was just my favorite shot of the movie. I don't have a favorite scene in this movie, but
All right, Brendan.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of glad that I went last because I'm gonna have a lot to say.
All
that's
right.
fine. We have time.
Let me start this off by saying that I watched Arrival like yesterday.
That was 2 days ago. Yeah, it was on Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday. And if you know me, you know that Prisoners is arguably my favorite movie. It's either that or Silence of the Lambs. And I watched this movie on Friday, and then I watched Arrival Monday. And I have to say that it's official. Denis Villeneuve is my favorite director because his movies are just so good. And I really, really liked this movie. Whenever it was over, because I saw this with Levi, we sat there until like the main credits were done and the rest of the credits started to roll. And we just got up, threw our stuff away, went out to the car, and we didn't say anything until we got in the car and we were like, okay, what'd you think of it? And I really liked this movie.
They walked in.
I really did. This movie makes you think. This movie makes you think. And it's slow, but I'm honestly getting to where I love slow movies. Sometimes I'll actually prefer a slow movie over a quick-paced one. Mm-hmm. And this movie, I felt it had the perfect pace. The first one is really slow.
Yeah.
But I don't think this one was as slow. It was longer, but it didn't feel as slow.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't even realize that it was almost 3 hours long whenever we were in the theater. When we were watching it, I never felt like it was 3 hours long, almost. Okay, what were you going to say, Irvin? Because I kept going.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to, just a small comment. I remember, because on Friday, I just finished watching the original Blade Runner, and you guys went to go see the movie. Mm-hmm. And I was in my room just, putting the DVD away in its case. I hear the door open and close. I got scared. I was like, oh my god, someone broke in. And then I walk out, and it's you two, and it's like you just two saw a ghost. And the only word that I hear come out of Levi's mouth is, Irvin, what do you think of Blade Runner? I go, it was alright. He goes, dude, that movie wrecked us. I'm just like,
it did.
That was the only thing I said. And they both went to their rooms, and nothing was said after that.
No movie's ever screwed me up as much as this movie. I can't think of any movie that's ever screwed me up.
The only other movie that screwed me up as much as this one did was Prisoners, and both were directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Hey, Arrival messed me up.
Arrival
messed me up my time in theater too. In theaters.
The lighting in this movie is just so good. And I was talking to Trevor, our advanced editing color professor, and he hasn't seen it yet, but he read an article about the lighting in Neander Wallace's place. What they did was they made the room, okay, for Neander Wallace's place.
Is this the room where he has the water and the reflections?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had a hole in the ceiling, and they lined it with lights, with orange or yellow lights.
Okay.
And instead of pointing them down, they pointed them up, and they had a screen above it so that the screen would reflect all the lights down. And I was just like, oh, I need to see behind the scenes of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I honestly felt this one was more colorful.
It really was.
Yeah.
I felt that too.
And I love colors in movies. You guys know this. I may be colorblind, but I love.
I was gonna say, despite you being colorblind, you love colors in movies.
I love colors.
Hey, you should see La La Land.
I
Yeah.
wanna.
No, I agree with colors. Dude, La La Land is
beautiful.
If there's one Oscar it deserved, it's probably for
cinematography.
It's
it
deserves that award.
Oh, speaking of which, the cinematography in this movie. Basically, I'm just gonna say
A lot of good stuff.
everything that I want to say. Levi said, but I am just
The pedestal.
I'm blown away with this movie. And it's so funny because, Irvin, you are at one end of the spectrum. You're kind of It was all right.
Yeah.
Then Levi's sort of like the happy medium, and then I'm just like, dude.
We're all in we're all like in different parts.
And here's
of it.
the thing. You know how Levi always gets mad at you for your high ratings? He's gonna get mad at me tonight.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna judge you at all because I can always tell when someone really enjoys a movie. And let me tell you one thing, buddy. You enjoyed the movie, like just how Steven enjoyed it. You love this movie.
I didn't
a lot.
expect to enjoy this movie as much as I did. I honestly expected to like see this movie and be like, it was pretty good. It was better than the first one.
Oh yeah.
But I did not expect to be blown away with this movie like I was. And Levi was like, boy, if you liked this movie, you need to watch Arrival.
Oh yeah.
And I did. And like I said, Denis Villeneuve is my favorite director now. I need to see Sicario, right now. I don't care how slow it is.
Yeah. I agree with you as well. I think in terms of which one is better, I definitely think Blade Runner is 2049 is better because
I think we all agreed on that.
Yeah, because for me, I think the plot was a bit more interesting than the original plot.
Oh, the plot in this one was so much better, I think.
Because like at every single corner, there's a different thing to learn. You
Well,
know?
the first one was more like a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
It was sort of like, I need to find so and so before he does this and this.
Yeah. And
This one, it's kind of it kind of is that, but it's also like, okay, who is this?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Right.
If this happens, then this will happen. If this happens, then this will happen. And it's just questioning. And this movie, like, with its storytelling, it's just so, like I said, it makes you think. And I was invested this whole movie. I was just, my mind was racing as I was watching it because I was like, okay, this. And then I was like, I got it. Like, it's this. But then the movie's like, nope, you got to go back to this. And I'm like, wait, what? Okay, this. And it was like, nope, this. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So, let me just say I'm seeing this movie again on Friday.
That's fine. Yeah, dude, you do you. I mean, I really love it when...
Oh, yeah, you've got your show.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to see it.
Well, don't worry, because Brennan's also buying it on 4K.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to take forever. It's going to take a while.
Well, I know, but... That's don't worry.
I don't want to wait that long.
I know, but... Still. I was actually going to say, I think it's really cool when, like, we have those films that, like, touch something in here for all of us, right? And we find out, like, especially when you find out, like, if this person's your favorite director, too. And that means a lot, too, because, like, obviously, you know, Scorsese has he has a very special place for you. Spielberg has a very special place for me, and now Villeneuve, you've discovered a new kind of way of watching movies.
Yeah, because I've always loved Prisoners, but I never really considered him being my favorite director because I hadn't seen all of his movies. But, like, seeing Blade Runner made me want to watch the rest of his movies. Like, when I saw Prisoners, I was like, this dude's a good director. But I wasn't, like, a spark didn't ignite in me and say, like, hey, you gotta watch all of his other movies. But Blade Runner did that, so now I've watched Arrival, I need to watch Sicario, and I'm eagerly awaiting the next movie that he's gonna make.
And for you, for Denis Villeneuve, was kind of like me and M. Night Shyamalan. So when Split was in theaters just this past year, actually.
Yeah, that was when your spark for
Yeah,
Shyamalan.
yeah, because I watched
Sorry.
I watched because I remember he made what is it Invincible? Unbreakable. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how this one's gonna be. You know, Split looks it looked really cool, and then I watched Unbreakable. I'm just like, oh wait, this movie was really good. And then Split, it wasn't as good, but it was pretty good. I'm like, okay, I get what M. Night Shyamalan's trying to do. So like, you learn the more films you watch by these directors, you start to see more of their like filmmaking style.
Yeah.
So Villeneuve, his style is, it's very long and kind of short and slow pace, but it's all about he's playing with your mind, right?
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan's all about time, how he manipulates time, right? So.
Except for the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, yeah, there are some of those films, but it's all about the style of filmmaking and what every director does, and I think Villeneuve definitely, because Arrival messed me up really bad in theaters. Blade Runner 2049, not so much, but I mean, I was like, okay, I see what Villeneuve's trying to do here. I can see it's his style. It's what he's known for. That's his thing. So
I mean, Levi watched like the last 10 minutes or so of Arrival. Like, I didn't even know he was standing there because I just had my eyes glued to the TV.
Mhm.
But I happened to look over for a split second, and he was just leaning against the door frame, the doorway. And the movie ended, and he just saw me just go, "Oh man,
oh man, I'm telling you one thing.
man. Oh God!" And I took the movie out of the DVD player, and I put it up, and he went, "So what did you think?" And I went, "I can't." I was like, "I can't do this."
That's the
I
movie
was
where
like, "It's official. He's my favorite."
That's the movie where I literally I was with my friend Joe and another friend from high school, and we went to see it in AMC in Creve Coeur, which is in Creve Coeur, Missouri. And so after watching it, I just during the ending part of that movie, right? I'm just sitting there, I just go.
I know, that's what I was like. I
I'm
was,
like, what
I was
is
leaning
happening?
forward, and I was like, why?
Arrival is considered his best film he's made.
I would vouch for that.
Yeah, me myself,
I think
I like
Prisoners is better.
same. I think Prisoners is better, but
I can see
everybody says Arrival is his best film he's made.
I'm gonna be
so
honest, I
far.
really want to watch Prisoners this weekend.
Okay.
I really do. If that's okay with you guys, I really do.
I won't be there, so do
Oh
it.
yeah, you're not gonna be here.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you? Oh, that's right. You have
I'll be in here
Yeah.
all weekend. So, yep.
Oh man, I don't own it.
You gotta go
I mean,
get
I
it,
own it, but
boy.
it's back home. I gotta find
Go
it.
get it on 4K.
They don't have it on 4K.
Not even Amazon?
No,
Man.
I know.
But yeah. So I bet we could go on and on and on about this
Yeah.
film. I know you certainly could go on
I
and on
could.
about this film. We have 15 minutes left.
I
However,
wish I could get more
yeah.
in detail with the plot, but I can't.
And it's one of those films that you really could talk on and on for hours for, but not just Blade Runner, but 2049, but also the original Blade Runner. They're both just these films that have so much to them that you want to explore more topics of.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's appropriate now for the ratings to come through.
It's gotta go this way. I gotta go last.
Okay.
I gotta go last.
Alright.
So my rating for 2049, like I said, I'm still beating myself up about it to here and to this day, and as you guys know, I didn't tell you guys pretty much anything what I thought of the movie until tonight because I wanted to save all my opinions till tonight. And from what I thought of Blade Runner 2049, was it better than Blade Runner? Yes, it was. Was the plot better? I think so as well. I think it definitely had my interest a bit more. I think also it had more potential to go further, but I think at the moment, at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I think it did good for what it did. They had a story, they did it, and then, left it at that, and then there's going to be another sequel after that, too. So I think, from what it did, it's fine. I think I can live with that, too.
Mm-hmm.
So my rating for Blade Runner 2049, it would be a 7.7.
That's fair.
And I'm still going to beat myself up after that. But that's my final rating for right now, so...
I give Blade Runner 2049. It's one of two. It's either an 8.3 or an 8.4. I'm leaning more towards the 8.4 though. Alright,
I think
Brendan.
that's the highest rating you've given something.
No.
No, it's not.
He's giving The Godfather a 9.
Oh yeah, I figured.
Or Godfather,
I
yeah.
gave it like a 9.1. Like the first
I
Godfather.
forgot you did that.
Levi's gonna hit me.
Just say it.
Oh god.
I'm waiting for this.
Is this a perfect 10 moment?
No, it's not a perfect.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah, we had that
I retracted.
discussion already.
I retracted
But
that.
you still made it a thing.
I know.
I give Blade Runner 2049 a 9.2.
Alright.
Nice. That's pretty nice rating there. I'm still yeah, that's a good rating.
I expected a bigger reaction.
It's fine.
I think you would have reacted if you gave it a 10 out of 10.
Okay, you know what?
I probably would have reacted if it was anything above a 9.5, because then you're getting close.
Oh,
and
no.
It's like, no.
I've been going back and forth between 9.2 and 9.3.
Yeah.
And
Like,
for-
I was going back and forth between 8.3 and
And I was like-
8.4,
I
but
was like, no.
I'm leaning more towards the 8.4.
I was like, no, Prisoners is more like a 9.3, 9.4.
And
Blade
with,
Runner is.
with like film ratings, usually like I always just give whatever my like heart feels, you know, for that
that's
movie.
how I am.
But sometimes you always feel like it, not from you guys, but like for other people around me that have also seen the same movies that I have. I feel like if my rating doesn't fall within a certain like a you know a number like a spectrum,
Like a criteria.
like a criteria, they're like, well, you're wrong. I'm just like, well, that's what I thought of this film. And so I think one important thing to understand is always that we all have different opinions. We all
these
have
are our
different
personal opinions.
yeah. And so this is what we really think of the movies. And we all watch movies differently. We all go watch the same movie. We all go to the same showing, anything like that. But it's the way we interpret it in our minds and what we do, you know, how our ratings come together. So while, you know, if Levi gives a movie a 9, I'll give it maybe even a 7 or a 6, you know, because that's how I feel. So I think definitely if you guys, like if anyone out there says like this film deserves like a 5 or sometimes like an 8, I mean, respect each other's opinions. It's whatever you guys want to give it. So, but I mean, that's about it.
Yeah.
So I have nothing else to say about anything for tonight's show. I know. Do you guys have anything else to say? Anything at all?
I have anything to say. We don't have a groovy Scoob moment.
We do not. We do
But-
not.
This
Yes.
is the second week
Actually-
in a row that we haven't had a groovy Scoob
Well, actually, I
moment.
was gonna kind of
I was gonna say.
I had one moment I was gonna talk about.
The closest thing I could think of was in Blade Runner 2049 when Rick Deckard and Officer K encounter each other, and Rick
Yeah.
Decker's just beating Officer K up and can't, like, 'cause he's a replicant. And then Elvis is playing, and then he just takes a break and is like,
It's
I like this
song.
Yeah. So that would be the closest thing, like, I could think of.
I was gonna say in Blade Runner 2049, it's with Ryan Gosling when he has to go away,
Mm-hmm.
and Joy brings home that one character that we meet in the film,
Yeah.
and like that whole like
That whole
merge scene.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was watching that scene, I was just like, this is like freaky. It's really freaky to me. It was very odd. It was not like funny.
You
It
know
was
what
just
that reminded me of?
What?
That entire scene where
Joy in the
where it was
Yeah.
where they brought the call girl over. It was that whole scene reminded me of the movie Her. If you guys ever seen
I've
it.
not seen that movie.
Because there's a scene.
Yeah,
I've heard
You've seen
about
it?
I've seen a little bit of
Yeah,
it.
there's a scene in the movie Her where because Scarlett Johansson's the voice of the OS system, the operating system for Joaquin Phoenix, and so because he falls in love with her,
Right.
there's a scene where they bring a call girl over
Yeah, yeah.
they hook like an earpiece up to each of their ears so that way she talks while the call girl like touches
Does.
him and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, like puts her
No,
arms around
yeah,
him
it puts
and
his arms
kisses
like-
him.
like
okay.
physical human contact.
The way you worded that was.
It was freaky to me in this movie because
So like that's exact when
Yeah.
when we saw it, that's what I was like, wow, this is exactly like the movie Her, where she can't like physically touch and whatnot, so like they bring a call girl over. And,
well, for me, like when I was watching this scene, it was odd, but also I felt very sad watching it because
Yeah.
you know just how much Joy loves him,
It's
and
very beautiful.
to me also
it
true.
was.
Also
Yeah.
true.
I was like, it's really sweet that this is
Yeah,
like. I was like, aw.
Yeah. And
sad.
yeah, it's just one of those scenes that I just thought about in the movie, and I was just like, you know, like why do the corrupt people have to exist in that world? We get the people that he actually cares about don't exist at all. So
Yeah.
but that was my kind of like odd groovy Scoob moment of the night because it freaked me out just a little bit, but at the same time,
That's
it's
sad.
it was- it's one of those scenes-
It's like-
That's a damn
that's not a groove.
Well,
Like, dang, Scoob.
That's a zoink. Scoob.
well, groovy Scoob means odd, quirky, or funny, so that was pretty odd to me.
Okay.
Like,
But it's also one. I mean,
zoinks.
the last thing I'll say about that scene, last thing I'll say, period, about Blade Runner is that scene, it was odd. It was in some way also very beautiful
Mhm.
because, like you said, Brandon, she's trying to do something nice for him.
Yeah.
But I felt very sad for him too because I know
I
just
felt
how
sad
much.
for both of them.
I did, yeah, no, exactly, me
I
too.
felt sad for everyone.
Yeah.
This movie made me sad.
It did.
It was so good.
That was my moment.
Get ready for Ghost Story.
I didn't almost buy it. I saw it was on DVD yesterday at Walmart, and I was disappointed that there was
We
no Blu-ray.
told you that.
I know.
He told you that
He didn't
before he
believe.
went.
He didn't believe me because he was like, "It's not in the news section," and I'm like, "It's with the indie movies."
Yeah.
And usually, like, they still put the indie movies up front, even though when it's just DVD.
Yeah. When me and Brendan went to go get Halloween, I barely saw it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cause I just happened like to look behind me. I'm like, oh, a Ghost Story's here.
Yeah.
But it's only on DVD, which sucks
Yeah.
because I'm gonna impulsively buy it. But it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
it's not on Blu-ray.
You gotta go to Target or Best Buy to get it on
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
But
Another
our-
trip for another time.
There you
Yeah.
go. All right, gents. Well, I have no final answer tonight. I know you guys probably don't either.
I don't have
No.
anything else to add.
All right, so that concludes our Blade Runner 2049 show, our second sci-fi show that we've done in our history here. So the movies again, if you want to take a look at them yourself, are The Martian, Metropolis, Ex Machina, Blade Runner, and of course the brand new one in theaters right now, Blade Runner 2049. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. And tell us what you thought of the movie too. Go on our Facebook page and YouTube channel and tell us what you thought of the movie, and maybe you'll see what you match with one of our reactions too. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, gentlemen, without further ado, signing off for the final time tonight.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Levi.
Steven.
I'm Irvin. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. We are the CineManiacs, and you've been listening to your station, your voice, the Galaxy Radio. See you guys next week.